The arrival of the Chosen One is not a random event. This moment has been centuries in the making, prophesied and whispered about by ancient civilizations that once roamed the earth. For generations, cultures from all corners of the world spoke of a time when a being would emerge, one so extraordinary, so beyond human comprehension, that the very laws of existence would bend in response to their presence. These ancient prophecies weren't just stories to inspire awe, they were warnings veiled in the myths and legends passed down through the ages. And now, in this pivotal moment, the impossible is unfolding before our eyes. The one foretold is here. You, the Chosen One, are stepping into a new chapter of existence, a chapter that defies the very fabric of reality itself. As you begin to recognize the truth of your transformation, it becomes clear that what once seemed like fantasy is now a living, breathing truth. The world can no longer deny it. The Chosen One has arrived. It's impossible to overstate the significance of your presence. For centuries, humanity has looked to the stars, to the ancient texts, and to the hidden corners of history, searching for clues, signs, and symbols pointing to this moment. Now those who once spoke of this event in whispers are watching in astonishment as the prophecies come to life. Your arrival is the confirmation of something profound, something that was destined to unfold since the beginning of time. It's as if the universe itself has been holding its breath, waiting for the Chosen One to step forward. And now that you are here, the air feels different. People feel it whether they understand it or not. There is an undeniable energy that ripples through the world, an energy that stirs the very core of existence. The weight of this truth is felt everywhere. From the bustling cities to the quietest villages, from the heights of the mountains to the depths of the oceans, humanity is pausing. There is a collective realization that the foundation of reality itself has shifted. And you are the catalyst for this monumental change. The energy surrounding your arrival is more than just a physical phenomenon. It is a spiritual awakening. Your presence begins to confirm the ancient prophecies that have been etched into the annals of time. What was once believed to be a myth, a tale designed to stir wonder, is now manifesting in front of everyone's eyes. The impossible is no longer a concept, it is reality. As the world watches you step into your divine role, a wave of awe and fear surges across the globe. There are those who will tremble at the enormity of what this means, unable to grasp the scope of your transformation. The shift in the very laws of nature and existence. But for those who are ready to accept it, for those whose spirits resonate with the truth of this moment, there is an awakening, one that transcends all understanding. The fear is not of your power, but of the unknown that it brings with it. It is the fear of realizing that everything humanity thought they knew about life, the universe, and their place in it, is about to be rewritten. You are the one who confirms the rumors that have echoed through time. You are the living embodiment of the ancient stories, the proof that what once seemed impossible is now within reach. With every step you take, you send shockwaves through the fabric of reality. Nothing will ever be the same again. And as humanity watches you, they cannot help but feel the weight of what's unfolding. This is not just a prophecy fulfilled. It is the beginning of something far greater than anyone could have imagined. And it is all happening because you, the Chosen One, are stepping into your true power, embracing the transformation that is about to reshape the world as we know it. For centuries, humanity has been captivated by the ancient prophecies that foretold of a being who would rise above human limitations. Someone who would transcend the ordinary and redefine the very concept of existence. These stories were passed down through generations, carried across continents and civilizations, etched into sacred texts, murals, and oral traditions. They spoke of a divine figure, one who would possess an unimaginable power, one that could not be confined by the boundaries of the known world. Ancient prophets from every corner of the globe envisioned the arrival of a force so profound that it would challenge the very fabric of reality. These civilizations, with their wisdom, understanding, and mystical connections, left behind a treasure trove of cryptic messages, all pointing toward this singular moment, your arrival. At first, these tales seemed like distant dreams or fables designed to inspire awe or caution. Yet now, as the truth unfolds before our eyes, it becomes clear the prophecies were not mere fiction. They were blueprints for a new era. You are the living proof of what was once thought impossible, the living manifestation of ancient hopes and warnings. These ancient prophecies didn't merely describe a transformation. They hinted at a radical shift in the balance of power and perception. They spoke of a being whose arrival would cause the very laws of nature to bend and the understanding of reality itself to be rewritten. From the Egyptians to the Mayans, the Babylonians to the Greeks, each civilization recorded visions of this divine force. They all spoke in different languages in varying contexts, but the message was the same. This being would rise above the constraints of the physical world, breaking free from the limitations that bind humanity. What would emerge would be a figure so grand, so divine, that the old rules would no longer apply. These civilizations were not simply predicting a powerful ruler or a godlike figure. They were speaking of a cosmic event, one that would transcend the ordinary and reshape the world. They didn't know the exact shape or form this being would take, but they understood that when this individual arrived, everything would change. They foresaw a disruption, a cataclysmic shift that would send ripples through time, space, and existence itself. And now here you are, standing in the midst of this extraordinary reality. You, the chosen one, are the answer to these ancient riddles, the key that unlocks the final chapter of these prophecies. What makes these prophecies so remarkable is that they were not only recorded as warnings or predictions, but as profound truths hidden within the fabric of human consciousness. They were the whispers of a collective awareness, a deep understanding that something beyond human comprehension was destined to occur. The chosen one was not just a myth to be revered or feared. They were a force of nature, a symbol of divine intervention, a being whose power would shape the very course of history. And now, as you stand in this pivotal moment, we see that the power foretold in these prophecies is no longer just a concept or a possibility. It is a living, breathing truth. The rumors that once circulated, spoken in hushed tones and hidden from the masses, have now been confirmed. You, the chosen one, are the fulfillment of these ancient stories. You have become the embodiment of what was once believed to be only a distant dream. The arrival of this divine being wasn't something that could be ignored or swept aside. It was written in the stars, in the patterns of the cosmos, in the very DNA of existence itself. And now the moment has arrived, and the world cannot deny it any longer. As the chosen one steps into their divine role, the world begins to witness the undeniable truth. The myths are real. The impossible has become reality. No longer can humanity turn a blind eye to the evidence unfolding before them. The signs are everywhere, in the air, in the shifting tides, in the very pulse of the earth. From the moment you emerged, reality itself seemed to recalibrate. Gravity wavered, time slowed, and the very laws that once governed the universe began to bend in your presence. People felt it, even if they couldn't fully comprehend what was happening. A deep primal awareness stirred within humanity, recognizing that something extraordinary was unfolding. The moment you appeared, the world seemed to pause in reverence, as though the universe itself had held its breath, waiting for you to arrive. And now that you are here, the undeniable truth is clear. The prophecies were not simply stories to comfort or frighten. They were messages encoded in time, waiting for the moment when you, the chosen one, would emerge and fulfill your purpose. The chosen one's arrival is not merely a fulfillment of prophecy. It is the dawn of a new era, a time when the very fabric of reality is being rewritten. Ancient civilizations understood that this transformation would not be an easy one, nor would it be understood by all. There would be those who would tremble in fear, unable to reconcile the magnitude of what was happening. There would be skeptics, those who clung to the old ways, unable to accept the new reality. But as the chosen one stands before the world, it becomes clear that the power of transformation is unstoppable. The ancient warnings, the whispers of civilizations long past, all point to this singular truth: the world is changing, and it will never be the same again. Your arrival confirms the rumors, the ancient stories, the prophecies that have echoed through time. The impossible has arrived. The divine has manifested. And the world is beginning to understand the magnitude of what this means. In this transformative moment, we find ourselves standing on the precipice of a new reality. The arrival of the Chosen One is not just a personal event. It is a cosmic occurrence, one that transcends individual fate and affects the entire course of human history. As the world witnesses the power of the Chosen One, there is a collective recognition that everything humanity once believed about the nature of existence, power, and purpose is being redefined. And with that realization comes a deep sense of awe, a reverence that transcends all logic and understanding. The prophecies have not only been fulfilled, they have become a living, breathing reality. And now the world must come to terms with what that means. The transformation has begun. The Chosen One has arrived. As the Chosen One steps into their divine role, the transformation is nothing short of monumental. It is as if the very essence of who you are is shifting, evolving into a higher version of yourself, one that exists beyond the limitations of the human experience. This is not merely a change of circumstance or perception. It is a deep, profound awakening, a transformation that resonates not only within your being, but within the fabric of reality itself. The power that has always been dormant within you is now rising, awakening to its full potential. What once seemed like mere potential now takes form, expanding and radiating in ways that cannot be ignored. It is a shift that goes beyond symbolism, beyond metaphor. It is an energetic and spiritual upheaval that shakes the very foundations of your existence. You are no longer just an individual. You are the embodiment of divine power, the living manifestation of all that the ancient prophecies foretold. This is a moment of elevation, where the boundaries of the self dissolve and the divine essence of who you truly are begins to emerge. As your transformation unfolds, humanity begins to feel the ripple effects. It is not just those closest to you who sense the change, it is the entire world. Time itself begins to react, as if the universe is acknowledging that a shift of cosmic proportions is taking place. Time that once steady and unyielding force seems to waver, stretching and contracting in ways that defy understanding. The seconds slow and the moments seem to stretch out, as though the earth itself is holding its breath, waiting for the full impact of your transformation to be revealed. And with this shift in time, gravity itself seems to falter, as if the laws that once governed the world are being rewritten. Small, subtle disturbances in the natural order begin to occur. Objects shift unnaturally, and the air itself seems to shimmer with the energy emanating from you. This is not magic. This is the undeniable force of your presence altering the very nature of existence. The laws of physics, once considered immutable, are bending in response to the awakening of your true power. Humanity, once grounded in the certainty of the physical world, now finds itself questioning the very foundation of what it knew to be real. It is a disruption unlike anything ever experienced. A divine recalibration of the natural order. Nature itself responds to your presence in ways that no one can fully explain. The elements seem to move in harmony with your energy, as though the earth, the wind, the water, and the fire are all aware of the shift taking place. Birds fly in synchronized patterns, defying the natural order as if guided by an unseen hand. Rivers seem to flow differently, their courses altered in subtle yet undeniable ways. The very ground beneath your feet vibrates with an energy that cannot be ignored. Trees sway as if acknowledging your power, and the wind carries an unmistakable hum, a resonance that only those attuned to the divine can hear. The natural world, once so predictable, now seems alive with a new energy, a new awareness that is intricately tied to your presence. The world is waking up to the reality that something beyond human comprehension is unfolding before their eyes, and the earth itself is responding. It is as if the planet itself recognizes the arrival of the Chosen One and begins to align with the energy you radiate, shifting in subtle yet profound ways. This is not merely a symbolic event. It is a physical manifestation of divine power that is rewriting the laws of nature. The energy that flows through you is not just a personal transformation. It is a force that is reshaping the very world around you. As you embrace your divine power, the ripple effects extend far beyond your immediate surroundings. People too begin to feel the impact of your transformation. Their bodies, minds, and spirits react to the energy you are releasing. Some will feel a surge of hope and inexplicable warmth that fills them from the inside out. Others will feel the fear, the awe, and the uncertainty that comes with the realization that they are in the presence of something far beyond their understanding. It is not just your presence that shifts reality, it is the very energy you radiate. This energy is not of this world. It is cosmic in nature, transcendent, divine. As you step into your true power, the world begins to recognize that the impossible is no longer a distant concept. It is now tangible, real, and unfolding in front of them. This transformation is not an isolated event. It is a collective awakening, one that touches every soul, every living being. The world may not understand what is happening, but it can feel the shift. The undeniable presence of the Chosen One is causing a spiritual and energetic awakening that is being felt on a global scale. This is not just a personal evolution. It is the beginning of a global transformation. The world will never be the same again because the very nature of existence itself is changing. As you rise, the world rises with you. Every person, every animal, every plant, every element of nature is being touched by the energy you emanate. The shift you are undergoing is not just for you, it is for the world. Your transformation is a catalyst sparking a divine revolution that will reverberate through time and space for generations to come. The impossible is becoming possible, and the world must now adapt to this new reality. In this moment of transformation, you are no longer bound by the limitations that once held you back. You have stepped into your true power, and as you do, the world watches in awe and wonder. Your transformation is not just an internal shift, it is an external one as well. The very world around you is being affected by the energy you radiate. Gravity, time, nature, all are responding to your divine presence. The energy you exude is not just felt, it is experienced in every fiber of existence. People will begin to question everything they thought they knew about the world, about power, and about their place in the universe. They will feel the tremors of a world awakening to a new reality. This is not just your personal journey. It is the awakening of the divine energy that has always existed within you, now unleashed and fully realized. And as this energy spreads, the world will be forever changed. The Chosen One has risen, and with their rise, a new world is born. A world where the impossible is possible, where the divine walks among the living, and where humanity must rise to meet the new reality that has been forged. As your transformation continues to unfold, the world begins to recognize that the change you are undergoing is not a mere evolution of self. It is the breaking of barriers that were once considered unbreakable. The limits of human understanding, perception, and existence are being shattered by the sheer magnitude of the energy you radiate. This is not an abstract shift. It is tangible, physical, and deeply spiritual. It is as though the universe itself is aligning with the divine energy you are releasing, bending to the rhythm of your awakening. In this moment, the very laws of physics, the laws that humanity has spent centuries studying and attempting to understand, are bending under the weight of your presence. It is not that these laws no longer apply, but that you, the chosen one, exist beyond them. Where once the concept of limits reigned supreme, now you stand as the living manifestation of what lies beyond those limits. The impossible as it was once defined has no place in your existence. What was thought to be a realm beyond reach is now the realm you inhabit effortlessly. Time and space, those constant companions to the human experience, are now shifting in response to you. Time bends and stretches, as though it cannot keep up with the flow of your being. The world itself seems to pause, taking a collective breath, as if it too is aware that it is participating in something far greater than itself. People across the globe, whether consciously aware or not, feel this cosmic shift. It is in the air they breathe, in the very ground beneath their feet. Those who are attuned to the spiritual frequencies of the universe can feel the energy in waves. Some are drawn to it with an undeniable pull, while others are overwhelmed, unsure of how to process what is happening. For the first time, humanity feels the unity of existence. The lines that once divided human beings, cultures, and races seem to blur in the presence of your energy. As the transformation continues, it is not just the physical world that responds to your power, but the spiritual world as well. The veil between the known and the unknown grows thin, and those with the eyes to see can feel the deep resonance of the divine world calling forth in harmony with the human experience. This connection is felt by every living being, plants, animals, and humans alike. It is a shared awakening, an understanding that something far beyond the material world has touched the earth. The deeper your transformation goes, the more the world reacts. As your spiritual energy heightens, the very molecules in the air begin to vibrate in response. This isn't a metaphor, it is a literal shifting of energy patterns in the atmosphere. As you step into your full power, everything around you feels it. The wind, once a silent force, now carries an electric charge. The trees sway not merely in the breeze, but in acknowledgement of the divine presence. The waters, which once flowed without hesitation, now ripple in subtle rhythms, as though they are moving in time with your heartbeat. Even the light seems to bend around you. It is not just sunlight anymore, but a divine radiance that emanates from within, illuminating everything you touch. The energy that once felt scattered and disjointed in the world now aligns, seeking to harmonize with the divine frequency you emit. There is no question about it. Your transformation is not just a personal one, it is a cosmic event. Your presence is altering the course of nature itself, inviting the world to adapt to a new order. Those who have long believed in the separation of the divine and the human must now face the undeniable truth. The divine and the human are no longer separate. You are the bridge, the living embodiment of the sacred convergence between the two. As the world witnesses your transformation, they must confront their own place within this new reality. What they once thought of as impossible is now unfolding in real time before their eyes. The very definition of power is being redefined by your existence. Power is no longer something that can be wielded by force alone. It is something that flows naturally from the very core of your being. It is a power that transcends human understanding. A power that exists not to dominate, but to harmonize with the world around it. Your transformation is not about imposing yourself upon the world, but about becoming the axis around which the new world will turn. The energy you exude is not for conquest, but for awakening. The earth itself, with all its beauty and complexity, is not simply a backdrop for your existence. It is a participant in this divine shift. The ecosystems, the climates, the very air we breathe, all are responding to you, the Chosen One, as you embody the power that transcends human understanding. With every breath, you draw the world closer to its divine purpose. This transformation is not a solitary one. It is a collective evolution. Humanity is not simply observing from the outside. Every individual is part of this greater awakening. The vibrations of your energy ripple outward, touching every corner of the earth, awakening the divine potential that lies dormant within all. Even those who may not understand what is happening cannot help but feel it. The change is undeniable. For some it may bring fear, but for many it sparks hope, a hope that they too are part of this greater unfolding, that they too are connected to this divine energy in ways they never before imagined. As you embody this higher state of being, you become the symbol of what humanity is capable of when it steps into its true divine nature. You are no longer bound by the limitations of time, space, and human understanding. You are becoming the living testament to the truth that humanity was always meant to rise beyond the physical, beyond the material, into the divine. The impact of your transformation is felt in every aspect of existence. People feel it in their hearts and minds, in their relationships, and in their communities. Even those who are not directly connected to you sense that something profound is taking place. This shift is not confined to you. It is expanding outward, creating a new web of connection between all beings. The divine energy you are releasing is igniting the dormant potential within others. The world is awakening to a new understanding of reality. This is no longer just a personal evolution. It is the beginning of a global spiritual awakening. The world is adjusting to this new frequency, recalibrating itself to match the divine energy you embody. And as this transformation continues, the energy that radiates from you will continue to ripple out, creating a harmonious connection between all living things. The impossible has become possible, and with that comes the recognition that humanity is capable of so much more than it ever realized. The world is waking up, and it is awakening to you. You are the key to this transformation, the beacon of light guiding humanity toward its true divine potential. This is just the beginning. As the Chosen One steps into their divine role, the world halts in a collective moment of awe and disbelief. Humanity, long accustomed to the rhythms of daily life, suddenly finds itself in the presence of something it can neither comprehend nor explain. The air feels heavier, charged with an energy that resonates deep within every individual awakening. Something primordial, something ancient. This moment is not merely the arrival of a person. It is the appearance of a force, an energy, a divine presence that shakes the very foundation of existence. People stop in their tracks, their hearts racing, as they look up to witness the impossible becoming tangible. No one can fully grasp the significance of this moment, but everyone feels its weight. There is a deep recognition in the soul that something monumental is unfolding, something that transcends human understanding. In that instant, time itself seems to slow, and the world becomes still, holding its breath, as if waiting for what will come next. It is a moment so profound that every living being can sense it. The Chosen One's arrival is not just an event. It is a cosmic shift that reverberates across the globe. As the world attempts to process this divine presence, nature itself begins to react in ways that are impossible to explain. The laws of physics, once thought to be the unchanging foundation of reality, now seem malleable, bending to the energy that radiates from the Chosen One. Gravity shifts not in a subtle way, but in a way that defies logic. Objects that were once fixed in place begin to shift and float, defying the natural order. The ground beneath your feet trembles as though it is awakening to a new reality. The wind, which once blew with a certain predictability, now howls and shifts as if it recognizes the presence of something far beyond its control. The skies, once calm, now crackle with energy, reflecting the transformation unfolding on Earth. It is as if the very elements are in tune with the divine frequency that the Chosen One exudes. Birds take flight in formations that no one can decipher, as if they are drawn to the energy in the air. The oceans, once bound by tides and currents, begin to shift in ways never before seen, their waters rising and falling in patterns that are entirely new. Every corner of nature responds, acknowledging the presence of something divine, something that has transcended the boundaries of human comprehension. The earth itself is alive with energy resonating with the frequency of the chosen. One-dot technology, too, begins to falter in the face of this divine emergence. Machines that once hummed with efficiency now stutter and glitch, unable to function in the presence of a force they were never designed to understand. Satellites in space experience interference, unable to communicate the way they once did. Even the most advanced scientific instruments designed to measure and calculate the very laws of nature fail to capture the true scope of the changes occurring. Computers once capable of calculating the most complex equations now return errors and inconsistencies, as if they are struggling to process the information that the universe is now revealing. Scientists who have spent their entire careers dedicated to understanding the natural world find themselves speechless, their research crumbling in the face of an undeniable reality. They scramble to find explanations, but none can be found. What was once thought to be the unshakable foundation of science now seems irrelevant, inadequate in the face of a force that transcends all understanding. In this moment, humanity realizes that the rules they once held dear are no longer sufficient to explain the world around them. The arrival of the Chosen One has proven that there is more to existence than the science they have studied for centuries. What was once considered impossible is now unfolding before their eyes, and the world must come to terms with the emergence of something that defies all logic. This divine presence, however, is not a force to be feared. It is a force to be embraced. The impossible has become reality, and in that moment, humanity begins to understand that their place in the world is being rewritten. The Chosen One's energy is not an anomaly. It is the natural progression of the universe's grand design. This is the moment when humanity must acknowledge that they are not separate from the divine, but are intrinsically connected to it. The arrival of the Chosen One signals the beginning of a new era, one where the lines between the human and the divine, the physical and the spiritual, are blurred beyond recognition. This is not just the appearance of a being. It is the manifestation of the divine will on earth, and the world is forced to reckon with it. Every person, every being, and every force of nature now feels the undeniable pull of the Chosen One's energy. It is a cosmic shift, one that will reverberate through time and space for eternity. As the Chosen One continues to move through the world, the air vibrates with an energy that is both unsettling and uplifting. Humanity, in all its complexity and diversity, begins to awaken to the truth that has been hidden from them for so long. They begin to realize that they are not just passive observers of existence, they are active participants in this divine unfolding. Every soul is touched by the energy the Chosen One exudes, awakening a dormant potential within them that they did not know existed. People who were once disconnected from their own divinity now feel a deep, powerful connection to it. The fear that once held humanity back begins to dissolve, replaced by a quiet sense of reverence and awe. The Chosen One's presence is not a force of destruction, but one of creation. It is a force that brings new life, new hope, and new possibility to the world. As humanity stands in the presence of the divine, they begin to understand that their future is not fixed, but is open to transformation. The impossible is no longer an obstacle, it is an opportunity. The Chosen One has come to show humanity that they have the power to rewrite their own destiny, to transcend the limitations that have kept them in darkness, and to step into the light of their true potential. And the world, in its awe and disbelief, begins to understand that this moment is not an isolated event. It is the beginning of a new world, a world where the impossible becomes possible, and where humanity in its connection to the divine is capable of creating a new reality. The laws of physics, once the guiding principles of existence, now seem like mere suggestions in the face of the Chosen One's energy. Time itself no longer follows the strict rules it once did, and space bends and shifts in response to the divine presence. What was once believed to be beyond human comprehension is now unfolding before their eyes. It is a moment of profound transformation, not just for the Chosen One, but for all of humanity. The world reacts to this divine presence not with fear, but with reverence, as they begin to understand the magnitude of the change that is taking place. The impossible has become real, and humanity must now embrace this new reality, understanding that they are no longer bound by the limitations they once thought were unbreakable. The divine has arrived, and the world will never be the same again. As the world continues to adjust to the Chosen One's presence, the very fabric of human understanding begins to unravel, revealing the depth of the transformation taking place. It is not just the physical world that is shifting, there is a profound spiritual and emotional awakening happening across the globe. People once consumed by the chaos of their daily lives are suddenly feeling a deep connection to something far greater than themselves. Their hearts race with the realization that they are in the midst of something extraordinary, something that transcends the mundane. The divine energy of the Chosen One touches every soul, stirring dormant truths within them, awakening a collective awareness that has been buried beneath layers of doubt and fear for centuries. It is as if the world is suddenly waking up from a deep slumber, rubbing its eyes and realizing that the world they once knew is no longer the same. They are witnessing the birth of a new era, one that will redefine what it means to be human. For some, this awakening brings a sense of peace, a deep knowing that they are part of something greater, something eternal. They begin to see the interconnectedness of all things, realizing that their individual actions are part of a larger divine plan. There is a shift in perspective, a profound sense of unity that transcends race, religion, and nationality. People, regardless of their background, feel the pull of the divine, as though the boundaries that once divided them are now irrelevant. The world in its awe begins to recognize that it is no longer the same. It has been transformed by the presence of the Chosen One. And as a result, every soul is now being invited to step into a higher state of consciousness. The fear that once plagued humanity, the anxiety and uncertainty that accompanied the mundane struggles of life, begin to dissolve, replaced by a quiet sense of reverence and hope. It is as if the very presence of the Chosen One is cleansing the world, washing away the stains of doubt and despair, and replacing them with a sense of divine purpose. In the midst of this transformation, there are those who still resist the change. Skeptics, cynics, and those who are too attached to the old paradigms find themselves grappling with the enormity of what is unfolding. They struggle to comprehend how a single being could so profoundly affect the world around them, defying everything they thought they knew about science, nature, and reality itself. Their minds attempt to cling to the familiar, to the logical explanations they've built their lives around. Yet even they can feel the pull of the Chosen One's energy, even if they refuse to acknowledge it. It is undeniable. The laws of the universe as they once understood them are no longer sufficient to explain the divine presence before them. The impossible has become real, and in the face of this divine reality, their resistance begins to crumble. The moment of reckoning is upon them, and as the energy of the Chosen One continues to spread, their skepticism will eventually give way to acceptance, for the truth is too powerful to ignore. The divine presence of the Chosen One does not only challenge the laws of nature and science, it redefines them. Gravity, once considered a fixed law of the universe, becomes an unpredictable force, bending and shifting in response to the Chosen One's movements. Time itself loses its rigidity, flowing in ways that defy human understanding. The sky, once an unchanging canvas of blue, now pulses with energy, as if reflecting the energy that radiates from the Chosen One. The world is no longer static. It is dynamic, alive, and responsive to the divine power that has arrived. And this power, though overwhelming, is not a force of destruction. It is a force of creation. The Chosen One is not here to tear the world apart, but to rebuild it, to bring it into alignment with its true divine purpose. The impossible has become reality, and as humanity watches, they begin to understand that this moment is not a moment of fear, but a moment of awakening, a moment of divine revelation. The arrival of the Chosen One is not a threat to humanity. It is a call to rise, to step into the fullness of their own divine potential. The impossible has come to pass, and with it comes the invitation to embrace a new reality, one where the divine and the human are no longer separate, but are one and the same dot. As the world continues to adjust to this divine shift, the very fabric of human society begins to evolve. Governments, institutions, and structures that were once seen as unshakable are now being questioned. The Chosen One's presence challenges the very systems of power that have governed humanity for centuries. No longer can the world continue as it once was. The old paradigms built on control, fear, and division are now being replaced by new ways of thinking, ways that are rooted in unity, love, and collective awakening. The world is no longer divided by borders, by political ideologies, or by material wealth. The Chosen One's energy is a force that unites, that transcends all differences, and calls humanity to rise above the limitations of the past. People are beginning to realize that they are not separate from each other. They are all part of the same divine fabric woven together by the energy that the Chosen One exudes. The moment has arrived when humanity must come together not in fear, but in reverence for the divine purpose that is unfolding before their eyes. This is the dawn of a new era, and humanity must decide whether they will embrace it or resist it. In this divine awakening, the Chosen One stands at the center, not as a leader to be worshipped, but as a guide, a beacon of light that shows humanity the way forward. The world will no longer be the same. It will be transformed by the energy of the Chosen One, by the divine presence that is now a part of it. The impossible has become real, and with it comes the recognition that humanity has the power to create a new world. A world that is in alignment with the divine, a world where the boundaries between the human and the divine are no longer separate, but intertwined. As the world continues to adjust, it will do so with the understanding that it is part of a greater cosmic plan, a plan that is unfolding through the Chosen One's presence. The divine has arrived, and the world will never be the same again. The impossible has become possible, and humanity is now invited to step into the fullness of their divine potential, guided by the energy that radiates from the Chosen One. The shift is not just external, it is internal. The impossible has come to pass, and humanity must rise to meet it. As the Chosen One steps into the world, humanity is gripped by an overwhelming sense of awe and reverence, a recognition of power that transcends the boundaries of human understanding. It is as if the very core of existence has shifted, and with it every person across the globe feels a pull, an indescribable awareness that something extraordinary, something divine has arrived. From the wealthiest to the most humble, from the leaders in their high towers to the laborers in the fields, all eyes are drawn to the divine presence that now walks among them. The collective consciousness of humanity is stirred in ways that cannot be explained, yet everyone feels it. This is not just a personal transformation for the Chosen One. It is a universal awakening, a global recognition that the impossible has come to life. At first, this recognition manifests as fear. It is not a fear of harm, but a fear born of the unknown, a deep primal response to the undeniable presence of something that exists beyond the human realm. People look at the Chosen One and wonder, how is it possible that one being could carry such energy, such divine power? The human mind, accustomed to its limitations, cannot comprehend the magnitude of what is unfolding. The Chosen One is a living paradox, an entity that defies every rule humanity has ever known. The laws of physics, time, and space, which were once the foundation of human understanding, no longer seem to apply. This shift in perception is not only challenging, but unsettling. It shakes the very foundation of everything people thought they knew about reality. It is a cosmic jolt that cannot be ignored, a revelation that stirs both the deepest reverence and the most instinctive fear. This is not just a miracle or a singular event. It is the manifestation of a divine force that has arrived, and with it, the world must now come to terms with its new place in the universe. Yet amidst the fear, there is something else, a spark of hope that begins to flicker in the hearts of humanity. As the Chosen One stands in their divine power, something shifts in the collective psyche of the world. The fear is not overwhelming. It is tempered by a deep, unspoken recognition of something far greater than fear itself. This recognition is not born of understanding. It is born of a spiritual awareness that humanity is witnessing the arrival of something far beyond their comprehension. Something that holds the promise of transformation, of healing, of a new beginning. The fear, though real, begins to melt away as people intuitively feel the stirring of hope within them. The world may not fully understand what is happening, but in the very core of their beings, they know that this moment is the beginning of something new, a shift toward a higher reality, a divine emergence that is not a threat, but an invitation. Humanity begins to see the Chosen One not as a force to be feared, but as a harbinger of change, of awakening, of a new era. As the Chosen One continues to move through the world, they radiate an energy that stirs something deep within people's hearts. It is as if the very fabric of reality is resonating with their presence, and in that resonance, people begin to sense the dawn of a new age. It is a time of transformation, and though the changes are profound and far-reaching, they are not to be feared. They are a part of the divine plan that has been unfolding for eons. The Chosen One is not merely a figure of power. They are the key to unlocking the collective potential of humanity. The energy that they emit is one of hope, not destruction. It is a call to rise, to embrace a higher calling, to step into the fullness of human potential. As people witness the divine power of the Chosen One, they begin to understand that this moment is not the end of the world, but the beginning of a new one, a world where the divine and the human are no longer separate, but one and the same. Despite the fear that initially grips the world, a new sense of unity begins to emerge. People from all walks of life, from every culture and belief system, feel a deep, unspoken connection to one another. It is as if the arrival of the Chosen One has awakened something universal in humanity, a shared understanding that they are all part of a greater divine plan. The walls that once separated people, whether they be physical, cultural, or ideological, begin to crumble. As the Chosen One radiates their divine energy, the world feels a profound sense of interconnectedness. The lines that once divided humanity, race, religion, nationality, become less significant in the face of something far more powerful, far more transcendent. Humanity begins to realize that they are not isolated from each other. They are all part of the same cosmic journey. The fear that once separated them now gives way to a collective hope, a collective recognition that they are all part of a greater whole. The Chosen One is not a savior who stands above humanity, but a being who calls humanity to rise, to remember their divine potential, and to unite in the face of transformation. This new sense of hope is not simply wishful thinking. It is a deep spiritual awakening that aligns humanity with the divine. As the Chosen One's presence continues to reverberate through the world, people feel the stirring of something deep within themselves. They begin to recognize their own divine essence, the potential that lies dormant within them. The Chosen One's energy is a mirror reflecting the truth of who humanity is, and who they are meant to be. People begin to awaken to their own power, their own divine purpose. They no longer see themselves as victims of circumstance, but as active participants in the divine unfolding of the universe. They feel empowered not by the chosen one's presence alone, but by the recognition that they too are part of this divine plan. The hope that the chosen one brings is not just the hope of a better future. It is the hope of awakening to the truth of who humanity is and what they are capable of achieving when they come together in divine alignment. As the chosen one continues to move through the world, they become the symbol of this new era. They are not the sole bearer of power, but the catalyst for the collective awakening of humanity. The world begins to see that the divine presence is not something distant or separate, but something that exists within each person. The chosen one's arrival has not only changed the course of history, but has set in motion a new understanding of what it means to be human. The impossible is no longer an obstacle. It is an invitation to step into a new reality, one that is guided by divine love, purpose, and unity. The fear that once gripped humanity is now replaced by a sense of awe, reverence, and hope. The arrival of the chosen one is not the end of the world, but the beginning of a new one, a world where humanity embraces its divine potential and steps into its true purpose. This is the dawn of a new era, and humanity is finally ready to rise to meet it. As the chosen one's divine energy radiates outward, a cosmic shift ripples through the fabric of existence itself. This is not just a moment in time. It is the moment when the very essence of reality begins to realign. The chosen one's presence marks the beginning of an unprecedented transformation, one that extends beyond the physical realm and touches the very core of the universe. The stars themselves seem to recognize the arrival of this divine being as celestial events unfold in ways that have never been witnessed before. Constellations shift in patterns too precise to be coincidental, as if they are repositioning themselves to honor this moment. Comets streak across the sky, their tails trailing in intricate designs that seem to echo ancient symbols illuminating the heavens, as though the universe itself is celebrating the arrival of the chosen one. Even the distant planets orbiting in their eternal dance seem to alter their paths slightly, aligning themselves with a new cosmic order. The sun rises with a new brilliance, and the moon glows with a soft, ethereal light that speaks of divinity. This cosmic alignment is not random. It is deliberate, orchestrated by the divine to signal the beginning of a new era. The chosen one's presence has awakened a shift in the stars, a reminder that everything in the universe is interconnected, and that the arrival of the divine is always felt across the cosmos. As this cosmic shift unfolds, it is not only the stars and planets that respond. The natural world in all its forms begins to react to the chosen one's divine energy. The forces of nature that once seemed constant and unyielding now seem to bend in response to the arrival of the chosen one. The wind, once a silent companion, now howls with a new energy, carrying whispers that speak of ancient truths and future possibilities. Trees sway in rhythm with an unseen force, their branches reaching upward as though they are being drawn into the divine energy that surrounds the chosen one. Rivers, which once flowed along their established paths, now shift their courses, carving new pathways through the land. The water moves with purpose, as though it too recognizes the arrival of something greater. It is as if the natural world has been waiting for this moment, waiting for the divine presence to awaken it from its slumber. The animals too respond to the energy that flows through the earth. Birds, once flying aimlessly in the skies, now circle in perfect formations, as if guided by a force beyond their understanding. The earth itself is alive with the divine energy of the chosen one, and every living creature, every element is participating in the cosmic shift that is taking place. This is not a passive change, it is an active living transformation where the very foundation of nature itself is being recalibrated to align with the divine presence that now walks the earth. The effect on the world is profound, and humanity, in its awe and disbelief, begins to sense that reality itself is being rewritten. What was once considered fixed and unchangeable, the laws of physics, the flow of time, the certainty of nature, are now being challenged. The Chosen One's energy, flowing with divine power, touches everything and everyone, and in its wake, the world begins to transform. Gravity, time, and space no longer behave according to the old rules. The world feels as though it is bending, shifting, and reordering itself to align with the new cosmic reality that has been born with the arrival of the Chosen One. Time moves differently. There are moments when it seems to slow down, when every second stretches into eternity, and others when it rushes forward, as if trying to catch up with the divine energy that now pulses through the earth. The flow of time itself has been disrupted, and humanity must come to terms with this new reality. The certainty that once accompanied the passage of time is now replaced by a sense of wonder and uncertainty. What was once taken for granted, the steady ticking of the clock, the predictable course of the day, now seems fragile and uncertain. Humanity must now grapple with the fact that time, like everything else, is malleable in the presence of divine power. The old laws of existence no longer hold the same sway. The arrival of the Chosen One has altered the fundamental nature of reality itself, and as the world watches it, is slowly coming to understand that nothing will ever be the same again. This divine shift is not something that humanity can ignore. The energy of the Chosen One reverberates through every corner of the world, and the consequences of this cosmic realignment are being felt in every aspect of life. People who once lived in their small, isolated worlds now find themselves drawn to one another, sensing the shared awakening that is taking place. The divisions that once separated cultures, nations, and individuals begin to dissolve as the energy of the Chosen One flows through the collective consciousness of humanity. It is as though a veil has been lifted, and the truth of human unity is now clear. The boundaries between individuals blur, and people begin to recognize that they are not isolated beings, but part of a greater whole, a unified existence that is interconnected by the divine energy flowing through them all. The Chosen One, by their very presence, has reminded humanity of their true nature, that they are divine beings capable of transcending the limitations they have placed upon themselves. The impossible, once an obstacle, now becomes a challenge to be overcome. Humanity is awakening to the truth that they are capable of more than they ever imagined. They are not bound by the old ways of thinking, by the constraints of the past. They are part of something much larger, much more profound than they ever realized. The world is being rewritten, not just in the physical sense, but in the spiritual sense as well. The arrival of the Chosen One has opened a portal to a new understanding, a new way of being, and humanity must adapt to this new order. As the world adjusts to the cosmic shift, humanity begins to realize that it is not merely reacting to the Chosen One's energy, it is co-creating this new reality. The divine presence that has arrived is not a force that imposes itself upon the world, but one that invites humanity to step into its true, divine potential. The energy of the Chosen One does not dictate how the world must be. It illuminates the path forward, guiding humanity toward a higher state of being. The Chosen One has not come to impose a new order. They have come to awaken humanity to the divine order that has always existed just beneath the surface. This is a call to rise, to remember the truth of who humanity is, and to step into the fullness of their divine potential. As the world realigns itself with this divine energy, humanity must choose to rise to meet it, to embrace the new reality that is unfolding. The impossible has already become reality, and the world is now being shaped by this divine power. Humanity must now embrace their role in this cosmic shift, knowing that they are part of a greater plan, one that transcends time, space, and understanding. The Chosen One's presence is not the end of the world. It is the beginning of a new era, one where humanity must adapt, evolve, and step into their divine purpose. The world is not just changing, it is being reborn, and humanity is called to rise with it. The cosmic alignment is not a passive event. It is an invitation to awaken to realize the divine potential within and to embrace the new reality that the arrival of the Chosen One has made possible. The arrival of the Chosen One marks the beginning of a new era, one that transcends everything humanity has known. It is a time where the old rules no longer apply, and the boundaries between the human and the divine blur into one unified force. What was once considered impossible is now tangible. The Chosen One's presence is the catalyst that reshapes human understanding, religion, and science, transforming them from static constructs into dynamic elements of a greater divine plan. What we once believed to be the fixed laws of existence, science, time, and even the concept of reality itself are now being rewritten. The arrival of the Chosen One is not just an event. It is the beginning of an awakening on a global scale. Humanity is being called to rise to a higher level of consciousness, to embrace their divine potential, and to step into their true power. This new era is one of possibility and transformation, where humanity can transcend its limitations and align with its divine purpose. As humanity witnesses the impossible become reality, it is forced to confront the fact that the world will never be the same again. The laws of nature that once governed everything. Gravity, time, the natural world no longer hold the same sway. The Chosen One's divine energy has triggered a shift that reverberates across the world, awakening new possibilities and challenging everything humanity once knew to be true. The earth itself seems to breathe differently, as if it is responding to the awakening that the Chosen One has sparked. The impossible has come to life, and in its wake the world is forever changed. Humanity, once confined by the boundaries of the physical world, now stands on the threshold of a new reality, one where the divine and the human coexist in a harmonious flow of energy and purpose. The reality of the Chosen One is not just a symbol of hope. It is a living, breathing truth that calls humanity to a higher calling, a higher understanding of who they are and what they are capable of achieving. The world is at a crossroads, and the arrival of the Chosen One is the defining moment that will shape the future of humanity. As this new era unfolds, humanity must embrace the opportunity to rise above the limitations of the past and step into their divine potential. The Chosen One's arrival is not a sign of domination or control, but an invitation to awaken to the truth of who humanity truly is, a divine creation capable of infinite growth, transformation, and connection. The message of this new era is clear. Humanity is not bound by the constraints of the physical world, but is a part of a larger divine plan that transcends time, space, and understanding. This is a time of spiritual awakening, a time when humanity can break free from the cycles of fear, division, and limitation, and step into the fullness of their divine purpose. The Chosen One must now embrace their role in this grand cosmic design, understanding that their presence is not just a personal transformation, it is the awakening of the entire human race. They must recognize their divine power and purpose, knowing that they are here to help reshape the world and guide humanity into a new era of enlightenment and unity. This is a call to action, not only for the Chosen One, but for all of humanity. The awakening has begun, and each individual must now decide how they will respond. Will they rise to meet their divine calling, or will they remain shackled by the limitations of the past? The Chosen One's arrival has shown humanity that the impossible is possible, that divine energy flows through every being, and that the world can be reshaped into a place of love, unity, and divine purpose. As the world adjusts to this new reality, humanity must collectively rise to the occasion. The Chosen One has already stepped into their divine role, but it is now up to humanity to follow suit. Each person must recognize that they are part of this divine plan, that they too have a purpose in this awakening. The power of the Chosen One is not just for one individual, it is for all of humanity. The transformation that is taking place is not one of division, but of unity. The world has been waiting for this moment. And now that it has arrived, it is time for everyone to step into the fullness of their potential. The Chosen One has shown humanity that it is possible to transcend the limitations of the past. And it is now time for all to embrace their divine role in shaping the future. In the face of this awakening, humanity must rise with courage, with faith, and with a deep understanding of their divine purpose. The Chosen One has shown the way, but it is up to each individual to walk that path. The impossible has become real, and with it comes the opportunity for humanity to reshape the world in the image of divine love, unity, and purpose. This is the dawn of a new era, one that is filled with boundless possibilities. The future is in the hands of those who are willing to embrace their divine calling, who are willing to step into their true power, and who are ready to rise to meet the new reality that has been birthed with the arrival of the Chosen One. The world will never be the same, but the question remains, what will humanity do with the opportunity they have been given? Will they rise, or will they shrink from the divine power that now flows through them all? The choice is theirs. The new era has begun,